Let's go Broncos! What if I told you that everything the media is saying about the AFC West is completely wrong? That the team everyone's hyping might be more smoke than fire, and that the real threat, the team no one's giving enough credit to, is about to turn the entire division upside down? This isn't speculation. I have the numbers, the video, the inside chatter, and even some player reactions that will completely change the way you view this matchup. And trust me, what I'm about to share with you will have every true Broncos fan foaming at the mouth when the game kicks off on Sunday. But before we begin, do me a favor, if you're orange and blue and tired of the Broncos being ignored, hit that like button right now. And if you've been with this team since the Elway days, comment below. Go, Broncos! My heart bleeds orange and blue. Okay, let me take you inside the firestorm that's about to erupt, and why this could be the moment the Denver Broncos retake control of the AFC West. The buzz around the AFC West lately has been all about the Los Angeles Chargers. Some analysts have been quick to crown them as division favorites, claiming they've got a stranglehold on the West if they manage another win. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. When you take a closer look at who they've faced, and more importantly, how those teams have performed on the ground, you realize that their record is, frankly, overhyped. And it's not just me saying that. Even their own fans and commentators are starting to sound the alarm. Let's break it down. The Chargers have benefited from two of the weakest running attacks in the league, the Raiders and the Chiefs. When Vegas met the Chargers, their so-called premier back Ashton Jeanty managed only 43 yards on 11 carries. The entire Raiders offense barely scraped together 68 rushing yards. That's a joke compared to what R.J. Harvey does in a single half. Then look at Kansas City. In their opener in Brazil, the Chiefs' leading rusher was none other than Patrick Mahomes himself. Not because it was designed that way, but because their running backs couldn't get anything going, even against a light box defense. No stacked fronts, no excuses, and still no production. Meanwhile in Denver, even with early critiques of Sean Payton not leaning on the run enough, the Broncos are averaging 134 rushing yards per game. That's far better than the Chiefs at 109. And keep in mind most of their yards are coming from Mahomes scrambling for his life, not from a coherent rushing scheme. The Raiders? A miserable 62 yards per game. And Ashton Jeanty, who the Raiders drafted with a controversial high pick, has been vocal about his lack of touches, essentially blaming the coaching staff. But the truth is, the guy isn't producing. He's been tripping over his own teammates, missing blocking assignments, and getting his quarterback lit up. This is the guy some fans thought would be the answer? In contrast, the Broncos' backfield is quietly becoming one of the most dangerous in the NFL. J.K. Dobbins has returned with a vengeance. 10% of his runs are going for 15-plus yards. That's elite territory, and what makes it even more exciting is how motivated he is. He was asked about whether he carries a chip on his shoulder against the Chargers, who passed on him for other backs like Najee Harris and Hampton. Dobbins didn't shy away from it. He's ready to prove them wrong, and the Broncos are giving him every opportunity to do that. But Dobbins isn't doing it alone. R.J. Harvey has proven he's not just a preseason darling, he's producing in real games, picking up blitzes, grinding out yards, making smart decisions. He's doing what Jeanty can't. And it's not just the backs. Denver's offensive line is playing at a top-tier level. No debate. Compared to the disaster classes we're seeing from the Chiefs and Raiders lines, especially that Raiders interior, which is giving up pressure like it's their job, Denver's trenches are holding strong and opening lanes. Now, let's talk about a huge X-factor for Sunday. Khalil Mack is out. He's been placed on IR for at least 4 weeks. While everyone knows Mack is an elite edge rusher, what doesn't get talked about enough is his run-stopping ability. He finished last season ranked second among all edge defenders against the run. Losing a guy like that is devastating for a defense. And guess what? They're going to have to deal with our punishing ground game without him. And here's where things get even more interesting. Despite running the ball well so far, the Broncos have been doing it without their fullback Nate Adkins, until now. He's returned to practice and is ready to go. That means no more patching things together with waiver wire pickups. This is the guy Sean Payton has trusted and built plays around. With Adkins leading the way, and with Dobbins and Harvey behind him, Denver's run game is about to hit another level. But not everything is sunshine and touchdowns. There are still concerns. Dre Greenlaw hasn't been seen at practice again, a disappointing development considering his impact on defense. And Evan Ingram's absence is equally troubling. He's a vital piece of the offensive puzzle, and without him, the passing game could feel some pressure. Still, Nate Adkins stepping back into the lineup is a major plus. He's the kind of fullback who moves defenders, opens gaps, and adds physicality that the other AFC West teams simply don't have right now. Because here's the thing, if the Broncos do what we expect them to do this Sunday, it's not just going to shift the conversation in the AFC West. It's going to force everyone, from ESPN pundits to rival fan bases, to start taking this team seriously. And it all starts with the run game. That's what's going to set the tone. That's what's going to control the clock, keep the Chargers' offense cold on the sideline, and grind down a defense that is already reeling without its top edge rusher. But what makes this matchup even more compelling is how Denver's offensive strategy is starting to mature. Early criticisms of Sean Payton were valid. Fans were scratching their heads wondering why we weren't running the ball more. But it's clear now that Payton has adjusted. Just look at the last couple of games. He's coming out of the gate with a commitment to the ground game. Against the Colts, for example, the Broncos started the game feeding their backs early and often. That's not just game planning, that's identity. And when a team finds its identity, dangerous things start to happen. Let's not forget, this isn't just about who racks up the most rushing yards. This is about setting up the entire offense. When you've got defenders crowding the line of scrimmage trying to contain Dobbins and Harvey, that's when Bo Nix can hit you over the top. That's when play action becomes lethal. That's when the passing lanes open up, and those intermediate routes suddenly become free yards. And speaking of Bo Nix, let's not overlook the protection he's getting. With this offensive line and the return of a fullback like Nate Atkins, the play-action game is going to be far more effective. And that's a big deal against the Chargers defense that's already missing its most disruptive force on the edge. Without Khalil Mack, you're asking second-tier defenders to hold up against one of the most physical and well-schemed rushing attacks in the league. That's a losing proposition. Now, zooming out for a second, think about what this game means in the broader context of the AFC West. The Chiefs, they're winless and in disarray. Their rushing attack is a mess, with Isaiah Pacheco looking a step slow and failing to take advantage of light boxes. Even their own fan base is talking about possibly trading for Alvin Kamara just to get something going. The Raiders, they're imploding. Poor interior line play, a confused backfield rotation, and zero identity on offense. The Broncos, on the other hand, are establishing themselves as the team with the clearest path forward. They're building around a strength that travels well in the NFL, the run game. Doesn't matter if it's snowing in Buffalo or a shootout in LA, a strong ground game and a solid O-line give you control. It shortens games, it limits mistakes, and it lets your quarterback grow into the system without being forced to do too much, too soon. There's also something to be said about the culture Sean Payton is building. Look at the contrast between the Broncos' backfield and a guy like Ashton Janty. One's calling out the coaches in the media. The others, they're grinding. Dobbins isn't doing interviews whining about usage. Harvey is quietly putting up tape that shows he belongs. This kind of culture matters. You want guys who buy in. You want guys who take their opportunities and make something happen. And that's exactly what we're seeing in Denver. Let's also not ignore the other hidden gem in this Broncos offense, fullback play. Nate Atkins might not get headlines, but go back and watch the tape. Look at the difference when he's in the game. The run fits are cleaner. The lanes are wider. There's more push at the point of attack. This is old school, hard-nosed football meeting modern scheme design, and it's working. Payton knows it, and he's going to double down on it. And finally, let's look at the emotional momentum. This team knows what's at stake. First place in the AFC West is sitting right there. A statement game against a rival that's been overhyped all season. A chance to prove that this rebuild isn't just theoretical, it's real. And with Mack out, with the Chargers' run defense untested against a real ground game, the stars are aligning for a Denver win. But this isn't just about one game. If the Broncos win this and take control of the West, it changes everything about how we view the rest of the season. Suddenly, every other team is playing catch-up. Suddenly, national media starts